Flowers. Spring. Isn't it lovely? Hello? Oh, why hello. What's your name? Digory. What's yours? Polly. I say, what a funny name. It isn't half as funny as Digory. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. At any rate, I do wash my face, which is what you need to do, especially after you've been blubbering. Well, you would too if you... Alright, I have that. If you lived all your life in the country and had a pony and a river at the bottom of the garden, and then being brought to live in a beastly hole like this, London isn't a hole. And after your father was away in India and you had to come and live with your aunt and uncle who's mad, who would like that? And if the reason was that they were looking after your mother, and if your mother was ill and was going to die, I didn't know, I'm sorry. Is Mr. Ketterley really mad? Well, either he's mad or there's some other mystery. He has a study on the top floor, and Aunt Letty says I must never go up there. Well, that looks fishy to begin with. And then there's another thing. Whenever he tries to say anything to me at mealtimes, he never even tries to talk to her. She always shuts him up. She says, "Don't worry the boy, Andrew." Or, "I'm sure Digory doesn't want to hear about that." Or else, "Now, Digory, wouldn't you like to go out and play in the garden?" What sort of things does he try to say? I don't know, he never gets far enough. But there's more than that. One night, it was last night in fact, as I was going past the foot of the attic stairs on my way to bed, and I don't know much care for going past them either, I'm sure I heard a yell. Perhaps he keeps a mad wife shut up there. Yes, I've thought of that. Or perhaps he's a coroner. Or he might be a pirate, like the man at the beginning of the Treasure Island, and he'd be always hiding his old shipmates. How exciting! I never knew your house was so interesting. You may think it's interesting, but you wouldn't like it if you had to sleep there. How would you like to lie awake listening for Uncle Andrew's footsteps to come creeping along the passage of your room? And he has such awful eyes. That was how Polly and Digory got to know one another, as it was just the beginning of the summer holidays, and neither of them was going to the sea that year. They met nearly every day. Their adventures began chiefly because it was one of the wettest and coldest summers there had been for years, that drove them to do indoor things. You might say indoor exploration. It is wonderful how much exploring you can do with the stump of a candle in a big house, or in a row of houses. Polly had discovered long ago that if you opened a certain little door in the box-room attic of her house, you would find the cistern in a dark place behind it, which you could get into by a little careful climbing. The dark place was like a long tunnel with brick wall on one side and a sloping roof on the other. In the roof there were little chunks of light between the slates. There was no floor in this tunnel. You had to step from rafter to rafter, and between them there was only plaster. If you stepped on this, you would find yourself falling through the ceiling of the room floor. Polly had used the bit of the tunnel just beside the cistern as a smuggler's cave. She had brought up bits of old packing cases and the seats of broken kitchen chairs and things of that sort, and spread them out across from rafter to rafter so to make a bit of a floor. Here she kept a cash box containing various treasures and a story she was writing, and usually a few apples. She had often drunk a quart bottle of ginger beer in there. The old bottles made it look more like a smuggler's cave. Digory quite liked the cave. She wouldn't let him see the story, but he was more interested in exploring.